Welcome everyone to the deep dive. Today we're embarking on a really vital exploration. We're looking into something that's quietly reshaping one of the world's most dynamic nations. I'm talking about the evolving landscape of India's senior population.
Exactly. And this isn't just about, numbers on a page or dry statistics.
Hmm.
It's a huge societal transformation. It touches, well, pretty much every aspect of life, family, healthcare, the economy.
Absolutely. We're actually talking about a future where maybe in just a few decades, the elderly in India could far outnumber children. Think about that. It fundamentally alters the very fabric of society.
It really does.
So our mission today is to cut through some of the noise, get to the core realities, some of which are, frankly, quite surprising. We want to equip you with insights that truly inform.
And that's why this is so essential, isn't it? Understanding this isn't just about knowing facts. It's about looking ahead, anticipating the future, recognizing these deep societal shifts already happening across India. So as we dig in, we're going to unpack the main challenges this rapidly growing group faces. We'll look at the struggle for financial independence, a big one, the widespread health hurdles, the shadow of social isolation, and also that often unseen issue of age discrimination.
Yeah.
Our insights today should hopefully paint a really nuanced picture. You'll see how diverse the experiences are from, say, bustling Delhi to states like Kerala, which is surprisingly forward in some ways.
And believe me, some of the things we've uncovered are really impactful. Imagine this. A huge majority, we're talking around 70% of India's elderly are financially dependent.
70%.
Yeah. And what's even more striking, perhaps even counterintuitive with India's growth story, is that number. It's actually been rising.
Right, which is, yeah, unexpected.
We're talking about a situation where, especially in many rural areas, the idea of retirement, as we might think of it, rest, leisure, it just doesn't exist for so many. Instead, it often means starting another chapter of work just to survive. Our data shows a pretty heartbreaking reality where many seniors face hunger or they have to cut back on meals.
A stark vulnerability.
Exactly. And the health issues, too. Over a third dealing with cardiovascular diseases, and maybe even more concerning, a huge underdiagnosis of mental health challenges like depression. Lots of people showing symptoms but not getting diagnosed. And loneliness. It's like a silent epidemic, especially for older women living alone.
But it's not all bleak.
No, definitely not. We found these glimmers of hope, resilience, like the surprising level of smartphone use in Kerala. A potential digital lifeline, maybe.
Potentially, yeah.
So our aim today is to make sure you feel truly informed, armed with a deeper understanding that might just shift how you see things. Let's really dig in.
Okay, so that financial dependency figure you mentioned, the 70%, that's truly striking. And when you look closer, it's not just a static number. As you said, it reflects a very real and, crucially, an increasing burden.
Right.
Some earlier national surveys, I think from 2018, put it at 65%.
Okay, so a 5-point jump in just a few years.
Exactly. A clear upward trend, which really pushes back against that narrative of, widespread prosperity trickling down to everyone.
And it gets worse when you look at the urban-rural split, doesn't it?
It really does. Only about 5% of elderly folks in rural areas report any financial security. 5%.
Wow.
Compare that to urban areas, it's still low, only 10%, but double the rural figure.
That disparity is huge. It really points to a structural challenge in creating a safety net that actually works for everyone.
Especially for those who spent their lives in the informal economy, right? No access to pensions, maybe limited savings.
Right. It paints that picture we touched on, retirement being almost a cruel joke for so many. You work your whole life, maybe in fields, small shops, helping in homes.
Decades of labor.
Exactly. Only to find yourself needing another job, not because you want to, but out of sheer necessity.
And the consequences are grim.
They really are. Our findings show 6.4% of elderly individuals have had to cut down their meal sizes.
Just basic sustenance.
And 5.6% have actually gone hungry. A heartbreaking 4.2% have gone a whole day without eating.
These aren't just statistics, they're lives.
Precisely. And you see the physical impact across the country too, but it looks different depending on where you are. Like in Odisha, over 37% of the elderly are underweight. Uttar Pradesh, almost 37% too.
Really high rates of being underweight there.
But then you look somewhere like Punjab, and 28% of seniors are overweight or obese. Chandigarh, over 21%.
So a completely different nutritional challenge in other regions.
Exactly. It's complex, it's geographically varied, you can't just paint it with one brush.
And this brings up that critical question about government initiatives, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like the Indira Gandhi National Old Age Pension Scheme. I mean, it's certainly well-intentioned, a vital safety net for
Yeah,
some,
yeah.
but our insights suggest the coverage is just patchy. It leaves far too many people vulnerable.
So how does that square with India's development goals?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? How can a country really progress, unlock its full potential, if a huge part of its aging population, the very generation that built the foundations for today's growth, is struggling just to eat? This financial strain, it's not just personal. It ripples outwards. It puts immense pressure on families, strains, community resources.
Impacts the whole economy, ultimately.
Absolutely. It raises really fundamental questions about, intergenerational responsibility in a society that's changing so fast.
And the challenges definitely don't stop with money. Health is another huge battleground. Our analysis shows a really substantial number, 35.6%, are living with cardiovascular diseases.
Over a third.
Yeah. And 32% dealing with hypertension, 13.2% with diabetes, add another 19% with chronic bone and joint issues.
It's a heavy burden of chronic conditions.
It really is. Almost like a checklist of ailments nobody wants. And what's really illuminating here is how much it varies by region.
Right, the regional differences are stark.
Take Goa, for instance.
Yeah.
An incredible 60% of the elderly there report cardiovascular issues. Kerala isn't far behind at 57%.
60% in Goa. That's astonishingly high. These aren't minor variations. They signal major localized health crises.
And if you look deeper at diabetes,
Kerala, again, really stands out. About 35% of its elderly population affected.
45%.
Yeah. Then Puducherry at 28%, Delhi at 26%.
So understanding these regional hotspots is crucial for targeting healthcare, right? For prevention.
Absolutely critical. It suggests different lifestyle factors, maybe genetic predispositions, certainly access to care. They're playing out very differently across the country. But beyond the physical, what's particularly concerning, I think, is the mental health picture.
Yes.
Our insights suggest 30% of elderly individuals show depressive symptoms, and a significant chunk of those, 8%, suffering from probable major depression.
That's a lot of people struggling.
It is, but here's the real disconnect.
Yeah.
Only about 10% of those showing symptoms actually get diagnosed.
Only 10%? Wow.
Yeah, a monumental underdiagnosis gap. It's like, trying to fix a major structural problem in a house by just patching the surface cracks you can see.
While the real damage goes untreated.
Exactly. Geriatric mental health services are often severely lacking, especially outside the big cities, which just makes this worse.
Yeah.
Millions suffering in silence.
That underdiagnosis really is a silent crisis. Just countless people battling these debilitating conditions alone, without support or treatment.
An invisible burden.
It really is. Now, shifting focus a bit, social isolation is another growing worry, and the reality for many is quite heartbreaking. Our findings show a really stark difference between men and women. 18.7% of elderly women live alone,
Nearly 1 in 5.
compared to just 5.1% of elderly men. That paints a pretty somber picture of lonely later years, doesn't it?
It does, and it reflects that wider shift away from traditional joint families where multiple generations live together.
Towards more nuclear families.
Right, and this increasing isolation, particularly for women who often outlive their spouses and might have fewer social networks anyway, it deeply impacts their well-being.
Their quality of life.
Absolutely. But amidst this, there's that fascinating counterpoint emerging, especially in Kerala.
Ah, yes, the smartphones.
Right. Kerala stands out with an impressive 65% smartphone penetration among its elderly.
65%. That's remarkable.
It is. And on the surface, that offers a real glimmer of hope, doesn't it? A potential digital lifeline to combat isolation, connect with family, access information.
Sure.
But this statistic also raises a more nuanced question. How many of these seniors really know how to use these devices effectively? Beyond maybe forwarding messages or making basic calls.
That's a very good point. Access versus literacy.
Exactly. The digital divide in terms of access might be narrowing in some places, but the gap in digital literacy, in meaningful use, that still leaves many vulnerable.
So just having the phone isn't enough.
Not necessarily. There's a real need for digital literacy training alongside just getting devices into people's hands.
Yeah.
It's about harnessing its power for connection, not just owning it.
Absolutely. Usability, confidence, meaningful connection. That's a whole other layer.
Yeah.
And then we come to that often invisible but deeply painful issue, age discrimination. Our insight suggests it's a real sore spot. Seems particularly common in dense urban centers like Delhi.
And who does it affect most?
Disproportionately, it seems to hit rural migrants and poor older adults the hardest. It's like society has this unspoken rule.
Fade into the background.
Kind of. Once you hit a certain age, you're expected to become less visible, less relevant.
That's just such a waste.
It really is. Think about it. India's seniors have lived through so much history. Independence, massive economic changes, the digital revolution.
An incredible repository of experience.
Exactly. Unparalleled wisdom, historical perspective. Shouldn't we as a society be actively listening to them, valuing that, rather than marginalizing them?
Precisely. It really underscores the urgent need for a fundamental shift in how we perceive and, more importantly, value our older population.
It's not just about tolerance.
No. It's about recognizing their continued potential, their inherent worth, the contributions they can still make. And when we zoom out again to look at the population proportions, you see this fascinating regional mosaic. It adds another layer of complexity for policy.
How so?
Well, Kerala, for instance, has the highest proportion of elderly residents in India, 16.5% of its population. That's quite high.
Okay.
But then states like Bihar have the lowest, around 7.7%.
Blue different.
Huge difference. And it's not random. It reflects deeper demographic shifts. Southern states are generally aging faster, lower fertility rates, people living longer.
Oh, okay.
Understanding these nuances, these regional variations, is absolutely crucial. You need tailored policies, resources allocated effectively, interventions that actually fit the local context.
Right. Makes sense. So wrapping things up a bit, what does this all mean for us, for you listening? We've just peeled back layers on a complex, sometimes confronting picture of India's rapidly aging population.
Yeah.
We've looked at the widespread financial struggles forcing seniors to keep working, sometimes facing actual hunger.
The basic struggle for survival.
We've touched on the heavy burden of chronic health issues like heart disease and diabetes, noting those concerning hotspots in Goa and Kerala.
And the mental health gap.
And the mental health gap, yes. Plus, the poignant reality of social isolation, especially for women, and that subtle but powerful impact of age discrimination, particularly hitting poorer seniors in cities.
These aren't just abstract points.
No, they represent millions of lives, countless experiences, and a profound societal shift happening right now. It demands our attention.
And while the picture we've painted can seem, well, daunting at times,
It can.
it's absolutely crucial to remember there are also these areas of resilience, of adaptation. That digital literacy, the smartphone use in Kerala, for example, it offers a kind of blueprint for how tech could be harnessed, even with the literacy challenges we mentioned.
Right, there are positives too.
Connecting the dots between all these things, the different health outcomes, the varying population sizes, regionally understanding these dynamics, is fundamental if we want to shape a more supportive, more equitable future.
A more empathetic future, perhaps?
Yes, empathetic too. It forces us to think critically, doesn't it? How can a society truly thrive if it doesn't adequately support all its members, especially those who've given so much already?
That really is the heart of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
As societies age, not just in India, but globally, what responsibility do we each bear? How do we ensure our seniors aren't just surviving, but truly thriving?
Thriving, exactly.
And how can we build a culture that genuinely values their wisdom and experience just as much as it values youth and innovation?
Powerful question.
It's definitely something to ponder long after we finish up today. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into such a vital topic. Keep smiling, keep living, and keep asking those deep questions.